Welcome to College Sports Check for Saturday, December 23rd, and happy holidays to everybody on this bright and early Saturday morning in the midst of a nice little long weekend. I hope everybody is enjoying it out there. So today we're here a little early so we can get over what's going on for today's football schedule. Got a couple basketball scores too to go over, but we'll do that at the end. But first, it's the scores and schedules. First, the scores, and so the college football bowl update is thus far. Okay, so we have Arizona defeating New Mexico in the New Mexico Bowl 45-37, and then the Las Vegas Bowl, Utah and BYU. Utah winning in this one 35-28. The Camellia Bowl, Appalachian State and Ohio. Appalachian State defeating Ohio 31-29. And then the Cure Bowl, San Jose State and Georgia State. San Jose State winning 27-16. And then the New Orleans Bowl, Louisiana Tech, Arkansas State. Louisiana Tech winning 47-28. The Miami Beach Bowl, Western Kentucky and South Florida. Western Kentucky wins 45-30. And that brings us to Wednesday, Tuesday the 23rd. All right, the Poinsettia Bowl, Boise State defeating Northern Illinois 55-7. Okay, a lot of blowout games this weekend. Of course, the Hawaii Bowl, San Diego State and Cincinnati. Okay, San Diego State took care of business on Saturday, but also on Tuesday you also had the GoDaddy Bowl, Bowling Green and Georgia Southern. Georgia Southern winning it 58-27. Then on December 24th, Christmas Eve, the Bahamas Bowl, Western Michigan and Middle Tennessee. Western Michigan wins it 45-31. And then the Hawaii Bowl, San Diego State, the Fighting Aztecs beating the Cincinnati Bearcats. San Diego State winning it 42-7. And that brings us to today, Saturday, and here's the lineup for the bowl games for Saturday and Monday and Tuesday, and then we'll go over the New Year's 6 as well. So Saturday, today, the first game starts at 11 o'clock a.m., and that's the St. Petersburg Bowl, UConn and Marshall, 11 a.m., and that's over on ESPN. Then at 2 o'clock, it's the Sun Bowl, and that's going to be Miami and Washington State, 2 p.m. Eastern Time on CBS. The Heart of Dallas Bowl, Washington and Southern Miss, 2:20 ESPN. And then the Pinstripe Bowl out at Yankee Stadium, which I think they're still selling tickets for. The Pinstripe Bowl, Duke and Indiana, 3:30. And that is on ABC. The Independence Bowl is set for 5:45. Virginia Tech and Tulsa. That's on ESPN. And then the Foster Farms Bowl, Nebraska, UCLA, 9:15 ESPN. Then December 28th, on Monday, it's the Military Bowl, Pittsburgh and the Navy, 2:30 on Monday, ESPN. And then the Quick Lane Bowl, Central Michigan and Minnesota, 5 p.m. on ESPN2. Tuesday, December 29th, it's the Armed Forces Bowl at 2 o'clock, California and the Air Force, ESPN. Then at 5:30, the Russell Athletic Bowl, North Carolina and Baylor, 5:30, ESPN. And then the Arizona Bowl at 7:30, Colorado State and Nevada. And that's over on ASN. And then at 9 o'clock, it's the Texas Bowl, and which is Texas Tech and LSU. And that's 9 p.m. on ESPN. And that is the schedule for Tuesday. Now, let's see. Which is the 29th, which brings us to Wednesday. All right. Let's see. Wednesday would be the 30th. And we'll be back on Tuesday, so we'll update everything. We'll be Tuesday and Saturday this coming week for the College Sport Check update. But on Wednesday at 12 o'clock, it's the Birmingham Bowl, Memphis and Auburn, 12 p.m. ESPN. And then the Belk Bowl, which is going to be North Carolina State and Mississippi State. That's at 3:30, also on ESPN. And that brings us to the New Year's 6, okay? Of course, we got the two big ones, okay? On New Year's Eve, that would be the Orange Bowl and the Cotton Bowl, okay? But you got a bunch of other games too. We'll start with the two big ones that everybody is on deck. It's the Orange Bowl, okay, which is New Year's Eve, and the Cotton Bowl, New Year's Eve. Orange Bowl is at 4 o'clock. Cotton Bowl is at 8 o'clock. Both games on ESPN. And of course, the Orange Bowl got number 1 Clemson, number 4 Oklahoma, and then the Cotton Bowl, number 2 Alabama, and number 3 Michigan State. And again, the Orange Bowl at 4 Eastern, Cotton Bowl at 8 Eastern on ESPN. Well, that's going to be interesting. Oklahoma and Clemson. That'd be good. That's going to be a good game. I don't know if Michigan State could beat Alabama, but if they did, that'd be something to talk about on New Year's Day, the day after. So, now, also on New Year's Eve, don't forget the Peach Bowl, which starts at 12 noon, and that's going to be Florida State, number 9 ranked Florida State, and number 18 ranked Houston. Okay, that's 12 noon on ESPN. And that brings us to New Year's Day. So that's 3 of the New Year's 6. The rest of the 3 goes like this, okay? It starts at 1 o'clock with the Fiesta Bowl. Glendale, Arizona, number 8, Notre Dame, and number 7, Ohio State. And I know everyone out there is a Notre Dame fan, but I will be rooting for the Buckeyes, okay? And that game starts at 1 o'clock, and that's on ESPN. And then next would be of course, the famous Rose Bowl, Pasadena. And that's going to be number 5 Iowa, and number 6 Stanford. That's 5 p.m. ESPN. And then then at 8:30 on New Year's Day. Okay, now these are all New Year's Day. Okay, which will be the Sugar Bowl, and that's down in New Orleans. And that's going to be Oklahoma State and Ole Miss. Okay, right now Oklahoma State ranked number 16, Ole Miss ranked number 12, and that's at 8:30 p.m. ESPN. So the New Year's Day bowls: Fiesta Bowl at 1 o'clock, Rose Bowl at 5, Sugar Bowl at 8:30, and then for New Year's Eve, Peach Bowl at 12, Cotton Bowl at Orange Bowl at 4, and Cotton Bowl at 8. All right, and then after that, there's a couple other games on New Year's Day as well. Okay, there is the Citrus Bowl. Okay, which is at 1 o'clock on ABC. That's number 14 Michigan and number 19 Florida. And we'll repeat all this on Tuesday. And then the Outback Bowl, January 1st. Oh, and that's going to be number 13 Northwestern and number 23 Tennessee. That's a 12 noon game. That's on ESPN 2. So you got 1, 2. You got 3 big games, and then you got 2 others. So a total of 5 games for New Year's Day. And then to wrap up the bowl games, which would be on Saturday, January 2nd, it starts with the Tax Slayer Bowl, which would be Penn State and Georgia. It's 12 noon ESPN. The Liberty Bowl, Kansas State and Arkansas. That's at 3:20 ESPN. And then at 6:45, it's the Alamo Bowl, and that's going to be TCU, number 11 TCU, number 15 Oregon, and I do like the Oregon Ducks. And then that's at 6:45 on the January 2nd, ESPN. And then the last one is the Cactus Bowl, January 2nd, West Virginia and Arizona State, 10:15 Eastern, ESPN. And then the National Championship game, which is set for Monday, January the 11th, and that is at 8:30. All right, got some basketball scores on Wednesday. There was a couple games on Friday. There was actually only 4 games on Friday. One big one today, though, 12 noon on CBS, and that's going to be number 16 Louisville and number 11 Kentucky. So Some must-see basketball watching right there for Saturday afternoon. So here are the college basketball scores for Wednesday and Friday. Okay, we'll start with Wednesday. Okay, UConn defeating Central Connecticut 99-50. Louisville over Utah Valley 98-68. Baylor over New Mexico State 85-70. TCU defeating Bradley 53-49. USC defeats Louisiana Lafayette 164. Utah State over North Dakota State 76-62. Portland over Pepperdine 87-79. Gonzaga over Loyola Marymount 85-62. San Diego defeating Cal State Northridge 81-63. San Francisco over Pacific 89-76. St. Mary's over Santa Clara 81-59. And then Illinois defeating Missouri 68-63. Mississippi State defeating Northern Colorado 93-69. Michigan defeating Bryant 96-60. Rutgers over Fairleigh Dickinson 72-64. Milwaukee defeating Minnesota 74-65. And Wisconsin defeating Green Bay 84-79. Some other scores. Number 3, Oklahoma defeating Hawaii 84-81. Number 18, SMU defeats Colorado 70-66. Harvard over Auburn 69-51. Bowling Green over Cleveland State 62-47. Northern Kentucky defeating Indiana Kokomo 88-44. Canisius over Nicholls State 83-74. Georgia Tech over Colgate 76-60. Hampton over Louisiana Monroe 75-64. Monmouth over Cornell 78-69. Davidson defeats Morehead State 81-77. Penn State over Kent State 75-69. Morgan State defeats Rider defeats Morgan State 71-49. St. Petersburg over St. Francis of Brooklyn 56-45. Towson defeats UMBC 91-66. UNCW over UMKC 76-56. And Idaho State defeating Texas Pan American 76-64. Northern Iowa over Washington State 63-56. Pittsburgh over West Carolina 79-73. That was actually a good game. I was watching that on Wednesday. BYU over New Mexico 96-66. And then Albany defeats Niagara 65-56. And then there was 4 games on Friday, which came in on the wire at the last minute. But there was only 4 games on Friday, which was yesterday. Oklahoma defeating Harvard 83-71. Washington State over New Mexico 82-59. BYU defeats Northern Iowa 84-76. And then Hawaii over Auburn 79-67. Again, so Saturday, tonight, this afternoon at 12 noon, again, it's Louisville and Kentucky, and that's over on CBS. Some games for Sunday, Maryland and Marshall at 4 o'clock on the Big Ten Network. At 2 o'clock, it's Marquette and Presbyterian at 2 p.m. Sunday. That's on Fox Sports 1. Syracuse and Texas Southern at 2 o'clock on ESPN. Also, Bucknell and Fairfield, BCU and Liberty, Middle Tennessee, South Dakota, South Carolina State, Ohio State, Loyola Maryland, and Northwestern. Okay. And then on Monday, here are the games for Monday. And there's a whole bunch of games, but College Sport Check, we just give you the games that are actually on TV because, you know, if you can't watch it. But that's what we do with the schedule. But College Sport Check definitely gets all the scores, and that's what we do. So here we go. For Monday, college basketball, for December 28th at 6 o'clock, it's UNC Greensboro and UNC, 6 p.m. ESPNU. Then for 7 o'clock on Tuesday, all right, there are 6 games for Tuesday, 7 o'clock. Butler and IUPUI, ESPN3. Villanova and Penn on Fox Sports 1. Okay. Rutgers and Massachusetts Lowell and the Big Ten Network. Eastern Michigan and Detroit, ESPN3. Oakland and Chicago State, ESPN3.